Absent-mindedness is a major psychological problem. Yes. But it has personal implications, but not social unless sometimes. Heard of the story of a absent-minded professor who was very busy, very popular, very busy. He was writing books and producing books every year. So one day he got a letter in the mail saying, "Sir, you are a very well-respected man in this college, in the university, and in the society. Hesitantly we point out that your wife is not loyal to you, but she is involved with another man. You need to do something about it." Well, he ignored it. "I'm busy, I need to finish this book. The manuscript has to go to the press, I have a deadline. After I doing it, I'll take care of it." So he got another one in another week. And then in that one said that, "Seems like you did not either take seriously or you did not believe what we said. Well, this is a warning. If you don't do something immediately about it, you will lose your job." Well, he said, "This trouble, I need to do something, but I'm on the deadline, let me wait for another week." Then he received a letter again and said that, "If you want more proof, at 5 o'clock in the evening, you go and watch, wait in such and such junction, you will see your wife coming holding hands with another professor of the same college." And so he said, "Well, if that gone that far, then I must do." So he has taken a gun and loaded and gone and waited there for half an hour. Then he realized, "Man, I'm not married, how can I have a wife?" That's an absent-minded professor, So sometimes you are absent-minded. Yes. Yeah. And forgetfulness is another problem when you get certain, dementia and all these things. Parkinson disease people have this problem, dementia and all these things. So one Sunday school teacher was teaching 10 Commandments. After a while the children begin to laugh. And the teacher couldn't understand. He said, "What's so much to laugh? If I have forgotten one or two, that's, I'm 75-year-old. So the student said, 10 Commandments have already gone 15 in number. You are trying to remember the next two." So all these sort of things happens, Yeah, and so nothing to worry about. As you're getting older and older, this brain cells cannot retain the informations. You have, your brain is like this. You've seen the brain. Okay, one hemisphere keeps the information, the other hemisphere thinks. Your rational thinking. So some people are very good in thinking, very logical, reasoning thinkers, but they're very poor in retaining. So whatever they have thought, they forget. Some people are very good, this hemisphere is good, so they can retain, but they cannot think. They cannot think, but they can retain whatever. Some are good on both. They are the super brilliant people. They can think, they can retain. You decide which one you are. If you lack on one, you are not a psychological patient. This is a problem. As you grow older, usually your memory part, entropy principle takes over. So it's there.
Family normally compliments.
Yes. Family compliments, that's true. The best compliment is when my wife also forgets. If I forget her birthday and she also forgets, the problem is not there. So that's why it's all really complimentary. So in some things it happens like that, Yes. So, supernatural mind, the Christian psychology, the Bible teaches and acknowledges that not only that man has a mind, but there is an absolute supernatural mind which controls the mind of the man. And that mind even works in our consciousness. So that right and wrong, we discern. I'm talking about a born-again Christian. The mind works in the other person also, but the other person does not acknowledge it usually, He considered that as unnecessary interference in his personal life. So if his mind tells him that you are wrong, he tells his mind, go mind your own business. The Bible presents man in a dichotomous way. A physical body and a non-physical mind, soul, or soul, spirit. Man is a dual ontology. The view that human nature consists of two fundamental kinds of reality, the spiritual and the physical. That's essential to our psychology. The spiritual or the non-material has two aspects, the soulish aspect and the spiritual aspect. But there is a material aspect and there is a non-material aspect. Both are, both are equally important as far as I'm concerned. If by priority of creation, God first created the body, right? So the priority of creation, the body was created, and then the spirit was. Of course, he could not have created the spirit because spirit usually needs, it has independent existence, because when we die, our spirit goes and independently exists. But seems like in this world to exist, it needs a body. Anyway, God created the body first. The body is very important, and God's program for this body is not over. Your and mine body, when it dies and decay, the Lord is going to raise it up, the same body, but in a different glory. It's a different glory. But the same body. In other sense, if the DNA is going to be determined, the same body, they will say that, no doubt. It's the same body. Same body. I don't know, when the Lord said he will call names, what he will call. Will he call, if he calls Tom Matthew, there may be another dozen Tom Matthew to come forward. So he may not be calling Tom Matthew, or he may not be calling kabrahamthomas, but he will be calling probably our DNA number or something, because nobody else will come up, only us. Now people ask, how is it going to happen? I don't know. I simply say that my God is big enough to do it without my advice. He knows, so it's not a problem. But we need to acknowledge this fact that we have these two aspects, and both aspects are equally important. There is a danger in Christianity of overemphasizing the spirit, and that leads to asceticism. They wanted to kill the body so that the spirit will be liberated. Starve the body so that the spirit will be liberated. No, Bible does not teach asceticism at all. Eat well, sleep well, bathe well, all take care of your body very well. Very well. There is no room for asceticism in the Bible. The doctrine, touch not, taste not, no. That was a heresy in the early church. In Colossians and all, it is dealt with, that heretical problems. The other problem is that you overemphasize the body. That will make you spiritually sick. You will become a carnal man. If you are a believer, you become a carnal man. A lot of people that they are worried about what to eat, what to drink, what to wear, where to live. They're all physical part. So much concerned about the quality of your mattress, the temperature of your room, the quality of your food, the quality of the water you drink, and so much. All the money you earn and all the time you spend thinking for the body, to make the body more comfortable and more better. And you sacrifice the spirit. Well, that's very dangerous. Such people, they're going to have disaster. They're going to have disaster when they find out that the body they're so carefully groomed, one day going to be eaten by the worms. That thought is A sobering thought. So we need to have a balance. My body is a temple of the Holy Spirit. My body houses my spirit, soul, spirit. All expressions in this world comes through my body. My body is needed to relate with the physical world. Anything. I cannot do anything in the world without my body. The world. But I cannot do anything in the spiritual world without my spirit and my soul spirit. So we need to have that balance. A very good balance. Always pay attention. Always pay attention. Yes. Laboring maybe by number of hours, we may be laboring more for the body, I don't know. Usually a person works 8 hours, right? So I will say 8 hours, and then you have 16 hours, what do you do? Usually you don't work for your body, you work for some other thing. What is that? So I will say a good division will be 8 hours for your, body, or 10 hours for your body cares, and the rest of it for your soul spirit. The soul and the spirit, or your mind and the spirit. That may be a good combination. In the mind and the spirit comes your physical relations with wife, children, and all that. Body relations, also mind relations. It's combined. I work to provide the food for my family. See, that's my, responsibility for my family. But I also take my family out for a holiday, to a good place, for a picnic. I go out, Of course, the wife has to be interested. Not all wives are interested to go out to this and that. They consider that's a waste. You ask your wife, you come to go to this art gallery, there is an art exhibition of the paintings of Ravi Verma or, some other person. Usually the answer is, who wants to see paintings? Yeah, they don't appreciate some of them. But there may be other things they enjoy. Some of them enjoy the music, some of them enjoy maybe going to a garden, some of them enjoy going to see a nice drama. Don't go to cinema, movie houses and all that. They're dirty places. I have never gone to one. I don't know what is inside. But I don't think anything good there. Yeah, so the Bible presents this dichotomous view, and it emphasizes both. In Matthew chapter 10 verse 28, our Lord said that we should not be fearing the one who could put only our body to death, but not the soul. We should fear, on the other hand, the one who could put to death both the body and the soul spirit. In other sense, we should fear somebody who can hurt both. If it's only the body, nothing serious. Nothing serious. But body and the spirit, yes. Many times Satan is attempting not to kill our body, but to kill means he cannot annihilate or anything, but to put to sleep the activities of the soul and the spirit. He may misguide the activities of the soul to be involved in the pagan art and the pagan music and the pagan this and the pagan that. There is more to offer there. Satan is very busy. For example, the rock music. Now Christians are watching the rock music. I don't know how can you watch rock music. Lot of young people are watching rock music. They call them Christian rock. Is there something called a Christian rock? Yeah, there is a Christian rock. That's the Lord Jesus Christ on which the church is built. I call that the Christian rock, Yes. Yes, they say that the words are good, the screaming and all, no. The music is not to disturb your mind, but to quieten your mind, right? That's the purpose of music. When Saul was possessed by an evil spirit, David was summoned to play the harp or the violin, whatever he was doing it. And then the demon, he quieted down. Now the music is to wake up all the demons. It really is. And the people also, you can just see the movement up and, they all go like that. You immediately know that if your child is born with this movement, what will you? You'll be happy? No, because the mother was listening to the rock music all through, the child is moving like this. It's terrible. It's terrible. All this disco dance and cinematic dances and all these things and the music that goes with it. You can go. I have no problem in listening to some Hindustani music or Carnatic music. I'm not a fan of Indian music as such, because they all have the temple themes and all that, That's the reason. But Hindustani music, some of them are good. I do not want to say that. But, Western music is originally, the old classic musics were all more Bible, oriented, and therefore I love them. They're smooth. When I go for an orchestra or something, my mind is just calm, and my hands doesn't sweat. My feet doesn't move. I can just sit there and listen. Psychologically, they are healthy. The modern music is psychologically not healthy. Not healthy. Now Western churches, they have, 3 sessions, 3 worship sessions. One of them they called them the old, they called the traditional music, where they sing how amazing grace and, how great thou art, and, and all those great hymns of worship, and they have the piano and the organ and all that thing, and everybody put on the tie and the jacket and all that. That's an awesome, Then they have the contemporary. The contemporary, there is a little mild. Then they have the modern. That's the, that's a harsh, hard metallic guitars and all that, electric guitars, and you just, all those things, people wearing tight, jeans and everything, and then you can look at their face and you can sometimes these are demonic. There are people who go for all 3. Yeah, they come in the morning very dressed up and they take it all off and come for the second. By the time you come to the third one, you don't need very much clothes on you. Because you are all very modern, It's all terrible, What I meant is we need to speak out on these things. It's all part of the psychology. You need to tell our young people that you will have psychological problem. Your mind won't be normal. It's like those who are drinking, they come after time, the 4th stage of the drinking, they start shivering. Once they start shivering, the Bible permits you give them to drink. That's why those who are going to, give them, because there is no way of taking them out. So early in the morning you have to serve them. If you don't serve them, they cannot do anything. When some booze goes in, they feel a little better. But there is no hope. Their liver is gone. Everything terrible. The same thing happens. Some of these people have to have something in their ears to study. Yeah. They say, I cannot concentrate without this. So what kind of a concentration is when it is being blasted in your both ears? Music. See, they are not normal. Usually people study in a quiet place, right? No disturbance. These people say we cannot study unless we are disturbed mentally, and so I say that you are not normal. Abnormal. So we need to train our young people. It's a psychological problem. Honestly, it's a psychological problem. Their mind is going after the wrong things. In 1 Thessalonians 5:23, Apostle Paul made clear distinction between man's material part and the immaterial part. He says, let God sanctify you wholly, your body, your soul, spirit. Sanctification needs 4 baths. And A Christian psychologist is very much needed to have the body, soul, spirit sanctification of our young people. We need to. So I recommend very highly that some Christians, study psychology very well in some Christian schools, and if possible, go get a degree in psychology. You can be a clinical psychologist, you can be a licensed family psychologist, counselor, economic counselor. You can have counsel in every areas of it. In Mumbai, you can have a thriving business. And it's a great ministry. It's something that you help, just like a medical doctor can help you, heal you. You can minister spiritually to people. You don't have it. Your motivation need not to be money at all, but you get some money. Yes. But people, I don't know, believers. I have not come across anybody who is, trained to be a psychologist. So counseling has to be done by people like us who are not really, psychologists. We are not. Only some education in psychology. I cannot claim I'm a well-trained psychologist. No, I'm not. But I do, because the necessity comes. The Bible never undermines or undervalue the body. It sees both the body and the soul spirit as essential part of man, and therefore we should not overemphasize one at the cost of the other. We need to have a balanced view of man. Sir John Eccles, one of the world's most respected neurophysiologists, is of the view that dualism is the only explanation for the many of the phenomena of the consciousness. What other explanation could be given to the individual's unity of identity? Nothing. A child born, the child, when start talking, the child say, I am. That's his identity. The child become a teenager, what does the child say? I am. Now he grows up to a young man, married. He still say, I am. Now he is in the midlife. Even in the crisis he say, I am not well. I am a father. I am a husband. I am. Then he comes into the mature old age after midlife. He still say, I am. Then he comes into the old age, about 70. He still say, I am. So the identity of I am is never changed. Though you change tremendously. When you were born, your mind was very passive. Your body was very flexible. Your spirit was almost silent. When you become a young man, a child, your conscience begin to work. Your mind is little more active. Your spirit is just initiated into relationship with God. Then you became a youth. Your body changes, the passions of the body changes, the pursuits of your mind changes. You are interested in things that you were not interested. You begin to show interest in a man, young man or a young woman. Before you were not. You think of marriage. All these changes come. Now you are a graduate of theology, and you are a preacher, you are an elder, you are a deacon, still you are the I am. So how can you retain your identity all through these stages? It's possible only because you are a composite person. Your body doesn't change, it only enlarges. Every cell in your body changes in 4 years. Once in 4 years, every cell dies and replaced by new cell, but you remain you. Your conceptions, your hypotheses, your presumptions, your presuppositions, they all change as you grow, but you remain you. Spiritually you change. Once upon a time you were a carnal man, but now you are a spiritual person. But still your identity remains. How is it possible? because that's the way God created. That's Christian psychology, This is the reason why a psychologist can treat correctly a person. Is the man altogether changed then? From adolescence you come to the youth, though you altogether change, then I will be treating a different person, right? And from youth, midlife, you are completely, totally changed, your body changed, your spirit soul changed, then I will be treating a different person. No, I'm treating the same person. This is amazing, isn't it? Why in the medical field they have a child's, pediatric surgeon? Why they have? The pediatric surgeon won't entertain a teenager, an adolescent. Says that you are too old for me, for my consultation. I deal with only little children. Why? My kidney has become too large? What's wrong? See, they fragmentize. The secular viewpoint of man is that he is a becoming person. For the Christian, he is a being, not a becoming person. For the secular psychology, he is a becoming person. You know what becoming person? You are constantly changing, in a constant flux of change. You may not be the same person tomorrow. No. You remain the same person. A true Christian, he grows and matures, but he does not change to the extent where he ceases to be he. You never cease to be you. Yeah. Maybe your weight changes, your shape changes, color of your hair changes, or maybe even few hair drops off. Yes, but you remain the same. So a Christian psychologist can deal with very well. He will ask your childhood experiences, he will ask your habit formation, the way you are raised up, brought up by your parents, how you married that woman, what sort of relationship you have before marriage, premarital relationship, postmarital relationship, what are the issues you are having. Can go all the way to the old age, because we remain the same. With changes, yes. Changes for good, some. Changes for bad, some. Yes, I admit. But there are changes. You never cease to be you. We all. God has created man a composite person with the capacity to change, but you are never a becoming person. The whole theory of evolution is that. They are expecting that man will become something else superior. They are waiting for the next big bang. And they say, we don't know what's going to come out of it. With the second law of thermodynamics and all that, I don't know how can they say it, but they are expecting something better. Maybe a wing will come on so that he can fly around. Or a tail may come around so somebody can hold on him and stop him. Or maybe two horns will come on so that he have mechanism, doesn't have to carry a gun, but he has his own weapon. No, sir. No. None of these things going to happen. So it's very important, psychology is very important. When you think about psychology, these far-reaching consequences are there. Yes. So John Eccles was right. The unity of identity remains because God has made us this way. Another scholar has said, even though every one of man's cells undergo, constant change, every man retains his identity substantially. He is able to say, I am in 20, or I am in 30, or I am in 40s, I am in 50s, I am in 70s, I am in the last day. Man must have an unchangeable part that may grow but not die. Cells die, but soul grows and changes, but do not die every day. so that I remain I. Man is more than brain consciousness. Man is more than muscles. The supernatural element in man remains the same, causing him to say, I am in 20, in 30, in 40, in 50 and 60. If man did not have that God consciousness in him, he is a changing being. God consciousness never change, God is the same yesterday, today and forever. So, the God consciousness, the man who retained, this is the reason why non-believers age very fast. You ever notice that? Non-believers age faster than believers. People say that I don't look 72. I say, thank God. I like to be this way even when I'm 90, if I'm around. People will say that you look only 40. But I lose the respect I'm supposed to get at 70 or 80. People still call me, some call me brother, some call me uncle, but nobody calls me Appachan. There's something unique in that one. You'll call me. No, don't call me. Don't call me. But everybody calls my wife Ammachi, because she got all grey hair, fully white. I said, let it remain like that. I like it that way. If I don't show my age, at least she must show age, Yes. Yes, some nice moments to cherish. Once I was walking with my wife, it was little bit raining, we had only one umbrella, so, we were walking under the same umbrella. In the little rain, a group of boys and girls, they were 6, 7, 8 maybe, they were enjoying, they were dancing in the rain and all. As we were passing by, one of them made a comment, he just asked in Malayalam, "Evadaayirunnu amme monum kude?" Where had you been, mother and son? My wife and I had fun, and we often say it, and we smile, and we say laugh, and it's nice feeling, Oh yes, we both enjoy it. These are certain realities you have to accept. You don't mature unless you accept your realities. Someone born with, like our dear brother, he has a problem with walking. If he accepts it, there is no problem. Not for him, for others. Some people won't accept it, so they won't get out for home. They will say that, this. Some people may have only one arm, they will cover it with some cloth or something. Why you cover it with? Let everybody know that you accepted. The complex comes by not accepting the inferiority or the superiority. I say accept I am inferior, so I don't have complex. I have complex only when I don't accept my inferiority, right? Then I try to show I am superior by attacking others, criticizing others, and when I accept that I am inferior to many people, so what's wrong? Nothing wrong. Some girls won't accept the fact that they are not that good looking. Some boys won't accept the fact that they are not that muscular. You always accept it. Always accept. So we have learned to accept. And we have fun then. We enjoy, we make joke about it. That's the way it should be. You should accept. That's a part of your maturity. A person is mature when he is able to joke about himself. That's a sign of maturity. When you are able to joke about yourself, in public especially, then you are a mature person. When you cover up, you are not mature. If somebody make a joke of you, you cry, you should laugh with them. You say it again, I like to hear it. That's a maturity. That's maturity. And we should mature. So it's very, very important, psychologically very, very important for us. Human memory is another facet of the unity of the identity argument that supports the existence of a supernatural mind. Other Christians have said, what research has shown thus far is that there is no precise one-to-one relationship between any fragment of memory and the nerve cells in which it is supposed to be encoded. In other sense that, we have a series of memories. But these memories are not piled up in our brain in any sequence of your age, or it occurred with the date-wise, or the importance of persons. No, they are all, separate entities, every memory. So that your identity is not dependent upon your memory. Your identity, you don't say, I am because I have good memory from my childhood to this day. What's your earliest memory? What age? 3 years. So what is that, brother? What do you remember at the age of 3?
My brother walking.
Oh, brother walking. Yeah, well, this isn't great. My earliest is at the age of 3. My maternal grandmother taking me to a man called Kochukunjupadeshi in Kerala, my great maternal uncle, showing him. He was very old, and I still remember sitting in his lap. He taking some sugar cane and cutting it and making it small piece and putting it in my mouth. I still remember. That's my first memory. I cherish that memory. Why? One of the godliest man. I'm sitting in his lap. Even if I forget everything, I wanted to retain that memory. But that memory, there are many other memories, I am not I am because of that memory. No. It is I who is having that memory. It's not that memory that makes me me. Some people don't have memory that far, Yeah. I have many early memories. Yeah, many early memories. They are fun, aren't they? Oh, they are very fun. Some memories, of course, I wish I never had. Some memories I never wanted to forget it. Yes. So, it's a very true statement, very true statement, that it is not our memory cells that, give us our identity. Other Christians have said it. Without any concept of the supernatural mind, the humanist has real difficulty of explaining the unity of identity and memory. The nerve cells in which memory encoded changes. The physical and mental core state changes, but the identity of I am remains the same. In another sense, what he's saying that, you have a thread that goes through the chain. You have many beads, 100 beads that make a chain. There must be something that hold all the beads together. There is a thread that goes on. That's the I am. That's the I am. Was it David who said, once I was young, now I am old, but I have never seen the righteous man, It's amazing, isn't it? I was young, but now I am old. The same thing I can say. Once I was young, but now I am getting old. I'm becoming older, But I have never seen certain things. The unchanging factor in man is that supernatural consciousness God has put in us. If we don't have the supernatural consciousness, then we are a psychological patient. We are not a being. We are, something else, an animal. You go to any animal, the dogs, for example, amazing. Last week I rushed to my home. And I have 3 dogs at home. And the youngest one was just I think 15 days when it was born when I left. Just very, It could, I think it smelled me. I took it in my hand and played, and also it knows my smell. But now I went there, oh boy, it was all over me, jumping all over me and smelling and all. Anybody else coming, it's very angry dog. bark. And that little dog never loses the smell. Or the other dogs, of course, they were jumping over me, the smell. But the dog does not have an eye consciousness. The dog never could say, once I was your dog, now I am your dog, and I will be your dog. No, it can't. Why? It does not have supernatural consciousness. It only have a faculty of smell, God given it for its survival. Dogs cannot survive without smell. That's what God has given them. Yes. So without any concept of the supernatural mind, the humanist has a real difficulty of explaining the unity of identity. You go and ask a secular psychologist, sir, I wanted to change my identity. In what way? Instead of saying I am, I wanted to say about me, you are. Or he is. Why it's always I am? When I was 5, I said I am. But I know every cell in my body has changed since then many times. But still I say, look at my hands and say I am. Sir, can you tell me the reason why? When all my cells change and new cells come, why I am not changing? At least I have to say that the old I am gone, now the new I am has come. They have no answer. They will say, well, that's the way it is. Don't ask this kind of questions. Some stupid questions need to be asked to find out who is stupid. Really, honestly. Some stupid questions have to be asked to find out really who is stupid. Yes. Some stupid statements have to be made to find out who is stupid. John Wesley was walking, in the evening walk, he was walking in the, in the city. And they have the sidewalk, and there is a post standing on the sidewalk, the fixed, and the little space, only one can go. If another person comes from opposite, one has to get down. So the notorious atheist from England who hated John Wesley to the core of his heart, they came face to face, and the atheist looked at John Wesley and said, I do not give my way to any fool. John Wesley looked, smiled and said, but I do. But I do. So that's why I said some stupid statement has to be made to find out who is stupid. I don't know the rest of the day what that man thought about. Yes. So I remain my identity, your identity you never lose, because the supernatural consciousness that God has put in your conscience remains. That's a link between your past, your present, and your future. If you didn't have that link, you would have been an animal like any other animal. You know why atheists behave, many of them, like a beast? Look at the communist, the Marxist, the materialist. How do they all behave? Look at the Russian leaders, the Chinese leaders. Go to Vietnam, some of these countries. Man has no value there. Why? Because they have ruled out, or they have silenced the supernatural consciousness in them, saying, you are not just an animal. They taught themselves to say that I am an animal. I am evolved from an animal, and more animals will be evolved from me. Let each kind beget its own kind. man was eating some nuts. So another man came and said, sir, you know, a man is what he eats. Yeah, that's but true, you know, a man is what he eats. So don't eat nuts. Yes. Another problem of the secular humanist and the Marxist is this: the free will. How could every single human being possess a distinct personal will? 10 cows in a green pasture field have only one will, to eat the grass, and when full, to lie down. But 10 people on a similar situation may have even mutually opposing wills. Only the biblical view of man, being a unique creation of man, could explain the different wills of man. No. I don't believe man has a free will. No, I don't believe that, honestly. Man has a free capacity. No. You know, where does the Bible say man has a free will? The first statement of God to man was what? You can eat from all the trees, but don't eat the fruit of the tree of knowledge. Was that a free statement? Is that freedom? Did God give Adam the freedom to eat the fruit of the tree of knowledge? No. But Adam had the capacity to eat. So to say that man was created free, no. Man was not created free. His freedom was limited to do what that was God's will, what was right. He had no freedom to do what was wrong. But he had the capacity to do what was wrong. He had the capacity, the ability to eat that which God said no. So man was created not with a free will, but with a free capacity. If you mean by will that capacity, I have no problem. I have no problem. You know, then it's a matter of semantics. But if you mean more than that, no. If I have 2 chocolates or toffee in my hand, and some child came and said, son, you choose what you want. He has chosen this, and then I gave him a spine. Why did you choose it? No. If that's what God did, God gave Adam the free will to choose, and when he chose, God spanked him, God would have been wrong. But if I tell the child, these are 2 toffees, I don't want you to take this one, take this. But he took this. What will I do? I can spank him. Why did he took? Why did he take it? Because he has a capacity to take it. But he didn't have the freedom to take it. Because if he had the freedom, then God must honor that freedom, right? Well, Adam, now that you have exercised your freedom, you are truly a free being. You can go wherever you want. You can do whatever you want. You are what you choose to be. That's not what God said. He added some punishments and pronounced some, cursings and all the earth and this and that and all that, So where this idea of the free will came? Man has a free capacity. The capacity God gave man is free. He has the ability to do what you want. But because man is a moral being, when you use your capacity, you are held responsible. Because God also has given you the capacity to obey Him. The capacity is your choice. It's not your will. What actually you do, you submit your will to the wrong purpose. Your capacity, your ability, you are using for the wrong purpose. Of course, once you exercise that, I could say that again it is not free, because you are not free now to do the other part. But there is a slant. That's called inclination, Man's, he has there's a technical word, he has a slant, towards evil. So this idea of man totally being free is a lot misused. The theological repercussions are far and wide. When say that God created man a morally free being to do what he wants, and then when he has exercised that freedom God has given, God unnecessarily punished him. God is a cruel being, an unjustified being. No. God clearly told Adam, you're not free to eat the fruit of the tree of knowledge. The day you eat, you shall die. Very severe warning. But God created him with the capacity to eat. But not more capacity to disobey than capacity to obey. He was created in equally balanced way. The capacity in itself is neither moral nor immoral. The capacity is amoral. I have the capacity to kill an animal, kill a man with a knife. Or I have the capacity to save a man with a knife. Cesarean. The capacity is neutral. The use of the capacity is what makes it moral or immoral. So Adam was created in that way, truly. He was given the capacity but not the morality. So, I'm touching on a very fundamental area, Basic, the theology is you talk to 100 Christians and 99.99 Christians will make the statement that man is a morally free person. Almost intending to say that God has given him the freedom to do what he wants. And you question them and ask them, wait a minute, did you say man is a moral being? Will you explain it? He decides what to do. Then what should God do? If God gave that freedom, then what should God do? Honor it or dishonor it? See, that's the danger, that's danger. The capacity, yes. God is the only person with a totally free will. Once man had eaten the fruit of the tree of life, man would have become a morally free being. He can no more do bad because he will desire to do bad. Any desire comes will be a good desire. So that the question of doing evil will not even arise. Just like the holy angels. Yes. If man would have eaten the tree of life, the fruit of the tree of life, then man would have been confirmed in a holy state. From that moment, man would have been a free agent because only good thoughts will come, no bad thoughts will come. So his choice is between good and good and good. It's never between good and evil. When you have a choice between good and evil and God has strictly said no evil, then you are not free. So that was what God wanted. The moral capacity to make these choices, God wanted man to make the choice for the good, so that he will be good always. Look at the holy angels, for example. They were also on probation, I think. Part of the angels fallen down. Occasionally they will do a good thing, I guess. But their basically inclination is to do bad. But the holy angels, if they wanted, could they do evil? The answer is they don't want to do evil. Why? Because by confirmed in holiness, all their disposition is holy. When your disposition is entirely holy, does God want to commit a sin? No. Why? God is totally holy. He doesn't have a disposition to commit evil. God created man with the capacity to make a choice like that. If he had used his capacity wisely, then man would have been confirmed in holiness. Then his choices are always between good and good. This good or that good. This good or that better. It's never this good or that bad. The free will theory assumes that man was created. Both the trees represents man's will. No, it doesn't represents man's will. Man has a one will, not two will. That will has to be subjected to the will of God. When man was to choose or subject his will against the will of God, then that is called the slavery of will. So what is freedom? What is free will? Free will is the ability always to do the right thing for the right purpose at the right time with the right motivation using the right method. That's what freedom is. Freedom is not the ability to do the wrong thing. That's slavery. That's sin. So true freedom is the ability or the opportunity to do the right thing for the right purpose, in the right manner, at the right time, with the right method. For the right purpose. Yes, I may have repeated one thing, yes. But that's what it is. That's what it is. We are free today to do that. If you wanted to mix that with evil, freedom is the ability, freedom is the opportunity to choose between bad and good. I say, and you don't have that freedom. It is a misuse of your freedom. It is an abuse of your freedom. The Bible called that slavery. That's what it is. Yes. That's why Paul said, shall we sin? No. How can you sin? You who are dead to sin cannot sin anymore. It's not logically correct. Because a dead man doesn't do anything. You are dead to sin. How can you do sin? So it's illogical for you. Man does not have the freedom to do sin. This is very, very important, So when somebody, comes to you with the brother, I was having this, I misused my freedom to commit adultery with this woman or with this man. He said, you look at him and say that, you are a slave. You know that? God never gave you the freedom to do such a thing. No. Man is never given a freedom to do any sin. No sin. The moment you do it, even to desire to do it, you are making yourself an enemy of God. So let us not have this misconception that man is a totally moral being, unless you mean by that one man has a capacity of choice. The ability to choose, not the freedom to choose, but the ability to choose. The ability is different from the freedom. The doctor has the ability to kill a patient on the surgery table or to save a patient. But the doctor does not have the freedom to do that. He has only the capacity. If he misuses the capacity, what will do? He will be arrested. This is very, very important, because a lot of people, they comfort themselves by saying they blame God. I did it only because God gave me the freedom to do it. Why God gave the freedom? That's why they ask, why did God put that tree there? So they wanted to...
The root of the problem.
Yeah, the root of the problem is that. Basically Adam said that. The woman you gave me. Don't ask me why. You created such a woman who has such power over me, persuasion over me. So the woman you created gave it and I ate it. What else should I do? Yeah? In your creation, that is what. See, passing the bugs, the wrong theology. The wrong theology. You don't have to eat everything the woman God has given you. If your wife gives you poison, will you graciously, joyfully take it? Knowing that this is? No, you don't. So you take only things that you think is, what you want. So why blame God? Why blame God? So in psychology, psychology is a part of theology. Psychology is involved with it. You just cannot look up the psychology saying 1, 2, 3. This is mine. Over. No. The ramifications go over and over and over and over again. It's all tied down there. So somebody come to you with these sort of questions. Is it wrong for me to marry a non-believer? Some ask. Why did you ask me? Because God has given us a free will, right? You have a free will? Where does it say? In the Bible. Where's the man, you are free to do good or bad. I will not punish you for it.